Flip it. Flip it and reverse it. Flip it and reverse it. Ah. All right. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, it feels so good to be here. Can you guys give us a thumbs up? Just let us know that you can hear us. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here with you. Introducing Cartsy B.
Hi.
Gonna wait a few minutes to let all of you guys join. Let us know how the sound is. Just to know. Oh, good. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Triple thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. Should I go on my cellular?
I think it should be okay. It's still, yeah, I think we should be okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, for those of you that don't know, Phil Good and I are traveling right now. We're in Florida. And we are staying at Cartsy B's place.
So honored.
She let us stay with her, and she is what would you say your title is?
I would say that I read energies. I'm an intuitive guide, and that I am an energy reader.
So I was thinking today, I was at the beach, and I was tapping into the October energy, and what I'm personally navigating, what I was tapping into the collective navigating in terms of what's going on right now, and what may be unraveling for us in the next week, 2 weeks. Now, the funny thing is that I'm always practicing presence. So to do like energy updates for a month, I always find it kind of funny because I'm practicing presence so much. But I think it's important also to be able to sort of get an overall view of like, what are we looking at? What are we dealing with?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then in this coming month. So what I was tapping into when I was at the beach, and we talked about this briefly,
Mm-hmm.
what I was tapping into was, I got this feeling of like redirection, right? Where the external is going to be redirecting you back inward.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
pinging inward shadow that is still being projected outwardly, right?
Yeah.
That you're missing, that you thought that wasn't shadow. You thought that. So our shadow, our traumas play out through shadow in the collective.
Yeah.
Right? And when we are unconscious to that, we continue to perpetuate,
Absolutely.
right, that shadow. And so one of the things that's going to start to happen massively, I think, in the month of October is physical experiences that we've been used to, that we've been doing over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
that we think are quote unquote sort of normal or repetitive behavior. It's going to become clear and obvious that it's a redirect back in,
Yeah.
because there's a piece of your shadow that you're missing.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's what I've been getting around this month. And I want to hear what you're feeling about the energies,
Mm-hmm.
and then pulling some cards and seeing what they want us to hear.
So yeah, for those of you who don't know me, I work mostly with tarot as kind of a roadmap of the messages I'm receiving, because some things come in a lot at once, and I kind of use it to sort out the messages. But Lori and I were talking earlier, and when she was saying she was seeing it as almost like these external experiences as a roundabout that are pointing us to go back in of ways that we may have glossed over or didn't receive the messages previously. And I said that's so interesting, because I just did an October check-in myself, and I was getting that with the energy of Libra, and which is the ruler of the Justice card. It's all about those Libran scales of recalibration, and within that recalibration and the ways that we're reprioritizing, we also just left the Hermit energy, which is very that like going within.
Yes, that
And
was me all month.
Yeah, and I think that exactly, which was what we were dealing with in September. And when I did kind of like my overview poll, I pulled the Hermit again, and I kind of laughed, and I was like, this is almost like that Monopoly, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Like there are some things we need to go back into Hermit mode. And if we try to skip them, it's going to become even more obvious in the external of where we're being pointed back into.
Like you won't miss it.
You won't miss it this time. It's kind of like undeniable.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. Definitely.
Like fine tuning, or hey, you forgot this piece. Hey, you forgot this piece. Hey, you forgot this piece. Interesting.
Yeah, which I don't think is necessarily something to be afraid of, but it's just more, it's don't worry, you'll have a chance to get it this time. You know, it's like being presented again. Yeah.
And also, like, I think the other piece that's coming in right now is that if a lot of times we have to get hit on the head before we realize, oh wait, this isn't for my highest good, right? Or oh wait a second, there was a deeper message in this experience happening to me, or in this unraveling, or losing my job. So initially, when things happen to us, there's a knee-jerk reaction to go into survival mode.
Yeah.
Right? Like, wait, why did this happen? What do I need to do to fix it? How do I get over this? How do I get through this? And when you go into survival mode initially, you miss the actual quote unquote lesson or the shadow.
Yeah, there's like blinders on to just get through the course.
And you're missing why it actually unraveled. Why did it actually happen to you? Right? And so we glaze over and we navigate life because we have to survive it. And so I think what October is that you may find yourself again in that same sort of situation or same sort of cycle, whether you are starting to date somebody again and you're like, oh my God, it's the same thing. Or you're starting to find yourself trying to find a job and you're feeling that same sort of like, why is it so hard? Why is it so challenging? Why am I in that? So instead of trying to figure out like, why is this happening? It's a come back in.
Absolutely. No, I'm getting that too. And I think that it's almost one of those things that as well, that like, you know, there's the whole saying of life speaks to you in a whisper and then an audible tone and then it shouts.
Yes.
And I think that we're being given an invitation to take it at the audible tone versus the shout, you know?
Right. Like, do you want to do another roundabout? Like, let's just do 2 times.
Yeah, totally.
I don't want to go hermit mode again for the third month. But we always have that opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so how aware can you be of what is happening to you, right? How aware can we be of what is happening? And if we recognize, and this is for all of our experiences, not just this month, right?
Yeah.
But if we can recognize that everything is an opportunity to redirect us, right? And figure out the internal sort of shadow that is being asked to be looked at. We won't, it'll be like, okay, next, next, right?
Absolutely.
It's gonna be interesting, especially as we watch what's unraveling with the world. Right? And how we are all navigating, a lot of us are navigating new ways of being. And if we fight against it, or if we try to, not battle it, but if we try to fix it, or even try to change it, right? There's a deeper sort of purpose or lesson. Everything is to bring us back in.
Right.
Everything is to bring you back in. Realign and refocus within you.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what when I was saying like the energy of recalibrating, I think there are things that we may have thought were in harmony or balance that are going to need tweaking. And it may not even be something so severe in that roundabout, but it's just that little tweak that it'll fit a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we do some cards?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yay. Okay. I'm so excited.
Me too.
Are these a card deck that you designed?
Yes. I have a deck that I created called Badass Bitches Tarot because it's kind of a lot of iconic women that are archetypes of the 78 cards. I created it as a learning deck for people that are like getting just introduced to tarot, but I'm now so used to reading it, so it's the main one that I pull with.
I love it. What do we need to hear?
So the first thing I always look at is kind of after I place the intentions that we're seeking, so kind of like upcoming energies for October into the deck, is what comes up at the base is kind of like immediate energies. And it's funny because the 9s are ruled by the Hermit, which is the energy we're talking about, and they're kind of energies of completion and finding that completion from your inner guidance system. And 9 of Swords is kind of like in the upright, it's things that were trauma. It's everything that you were speaking about. If you lost your job, if you exited a relationship in a way that felt traumatic. But the reversal is kind of almost like the only way out is through. So even if you already had the experience of it, almost like I've been, like you were saying, in survivor mode, now is more of the integration of kind of like, what is it? What was it that we learned going through it?
Ooh.
Yeah.
So many of us have gone have gone through it or are currently going through it based on just the whole entire world changing.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing about Nine of Swords is kind of like, it's a moment in your life, but it's not, it's like a chapter in your life, but it doesn't define your book. So what are the lessons in that chapter, but not letting it be more or less than it is, you know, kind of not skipping over that chapter so that there's a piece missing in the story,
right,
but also not making that chapter the title of the whole book.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it just is.
Just is.
A piece of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it the entire, don't hold it so tight that it becomes everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh my God, this is happening and it's so massive and what am I going to do? And holy cow. And no.
Yeah.
It's just one experience.
Totally. Yeah. But not skipping it either.
Not skipping it.
The rest of the book's not going to flow in the same way.
Not skipping it.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look. Okay. So the first thing that's coming through at the center, so Seven of Swords is kind of a card of, I always call this, if I had to sum it up, like strategic victory. And I think this is, we're going to be faced, and this could be decisions, this could be conflict in some way with those around us, those we love, family, colleagues. It's kind of, there's no way to make everyone happy in this scenario. And standing your ground, even when you're going to be met with resistance, and again, coming at that from kind of like your sovereignty, your inner knowing. And it's a hard one to navigate because a lot of times it's seen as selfish. It's seen as, there are even readers that read Seven of Swords of like, oh, that's like, it's a selfish card, it's kind of shady energy, but it's really being able to say, I don't need everyone in the room to agree with this decision, and I'm going to make it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's like so many of us right now. That's sovereignty.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like there's going to be some things coming up that push back at that Seven of Swords of kind of like, oh, like, and we're connected to everyone's energy, especially around us, but everyone's energy, period. So it's kind of feeling that, like, we know the pushback, but are we going to stand in our truth beyond it? So recent, like coming through almost like the September into October timeframe, it's interesting because we just had the fall equinox and then we're moving towards, it's like, astrologically speaking, it's when the veil is the thinnest, is from the equinox into the 31st. And that's really kind of the Emperor reverse and the Magician reverse. It's kind of, it is also recalibrating, but it's almost like, things are heightening, like our senses are heightening, but in different ways. I don't know if you've experienced this, but like different ways I'm feeling it. I'm very much like through the cards, through like, you know, meditative channeling, but I've been having things come through like telepathic messages even, and like not knowing why. I was in a Target. This is such a small example. I was in Target over here, and there was a little girl who was looking at these like plastic pumpkins, and her mom just picked up the pink one and put it in the cart, and she was thinking like she wanted the green one, and I just looked at her and smiled, and I was like, I hope you can get the green one. And I went about my way. I was like buying my stuff, and loops back around, and she smiled at me, and she was like, that lady knows. She knows I wanted the green one. And it was like so freaked because I don't.
She said that out loud?
She said it out loud, and then I got freaked out. I was like, her mom's gonna think I'm some like creepy lady.
Right.
But it doesn't usually come through like that for me. It's usually kind of like I go into the zone, I pull cards, or I met it, but it's been coming through. So I think that's kind of like with the Emperor reverse, Magician reverse, our magic is not reverse, but we're accessing it in ways that may feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
And it's kind of, that's part of that recalibration of kind of how do we, you know what I mean, get comfortable
exactly
and trust the receiving of it.
Yes, because everything for me, everything is becoming so much more feeling.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more feeling, whether it's feeling more emotion, whether it's feeling more energy, whether it is feeling an experience more, feeling my resonance more, feeling my intuition. There's a lot more feeling happening, right? And we're not used to that.
Mm-hmm.
We're used to being mind, logic. This is what makes sense to us.
Yeah.
I use my mind, I use my logic, right? And I use my thinking, and that's how I navigate the world. And I've been noticing, and it's happening really slowly. So it's not like this like instantaneous.
Yeah.
It's this slow shift where I'm like, wait, I'm starting to navigate my world more from a feeling space. And the more I naturally start to do it, the more I'm realizing I'm doing it. But also I'm realizing that it's not my go-to necessarily.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not your
the
exactly.
go-to.
Yeah.
So you're aware of it, and you're like, oh, I just followed gut. I just followed
Yes.
with intuition. I just walked into the target, and I felt like it's not like we're trying.
Yeah.
I'm not. You didn't try to like do that.
No,
right?
it was just shopping for Tide Pods.
Yeah, like you weren't like, I'm gonna walk into Target and try to like psychically like connect
comfort
to
a child. Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like these little tiny things that are starting to happen.
Yeah. And I think that that's the biggest piece of that with like the Emperor reversed is like the receiving, and then like allowing yourself to trust the receiving of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trust it. Like there's nothing wrong with me.
It's not crazy.
I'm not crazy.
And don't think, oh, it was a fluke. Because
Right.
honestly, even like for me, candidly, if that little girl hadn't said it, I would have been like, oh,
Yes.
that was in my mind.
Yep, I made it up.
I made it up because pink is for girl, and I was thinking
Yes.
that, and was that from an ego judging place, not from a knowing place, and like it was almost like the universe gave me such a loud confirmation to be like, trust the new ways you're receiving.
Yeah, I
these
got
things.
massive goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because we're not, our innate way of being, like the human is designed to be able to navigate this energetic world on an energetic level, right?
Yeah.
And so energetic level is telepathy. But we don't have that feedback yet. There's not a feedback system where we can receive back from the external what we're recognizing or what we are experiencing.
Yeah.
And so if you're distracting me.
Hi guys.
Hi, do you want to come in?
I'll just say hi.
Yes.
I won't sit though. You guys do your thing.
You don't want to be a part?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
That was it.
Oh, what was I saying? There's not a feedback system, right?
Yes.
Okay, so trusting it, even when you don't have the response back, even when you don't have it, we have to start trusting.
Yeah.
It's going to come online massively in October.
Yeah, definitely. And that was literally, I think, October 1 that happened to me in the Target.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, ooh. And I've been feeling it, like I said, since the equinox, like those like past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think it's
And
yeah.
really fast before you go on,
Yeah.
also intuition. So intuition is going to turn on so much more for people. It's going to get so much louder, which is like, I knew my intuition was telling me not to do that. Why didn't I do that, right? My intuition was telling me to follow that. Why? We're going to see those signs over and over and over.
And I think it's like when you were talking about like the being redirected back within, like almost like seeing it as a roundabout, it will be in some ways comedic of like, we've all had those moments of like, I kind of knew I was like, you know, intuitively feeling to go right instead of left, but now it's going to be like the reveal as to like, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I was right.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I was right. Oh, yeah, right. They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, the other thing coming through, so Queen of Cups and Ace of Swords reverse. Queen of Cups is kind of, and it's funny because she's ruled by a lot of Venus energy, and Libra's ruled by Venus. So there is a lot of that like heart opening, love and beauty coming through with the recalibration. So recalibrating a lot more towards the feeling place and the kind of that, like what feels with Venus. I always am like, what feels luxurious, and luxury is different to everybody. That luxury can be peace and solitude in nature. It can be taking a bath. It can be like whatever that experience that feels luxurious to you. I think that there's going to be a changing of that story, because Ace of Swords reversed is kind of like stories we've told ourselves that, and it may have been true at the time, but it's as we recalibrate, like, does that still stand as what that Venus energy feels like?
Okay, so when you say the old stories, like with the Venus energy, like the things that used to make us feel good, aren't going to make us feel good anymore.
Yeah.
And so the patterning of like, well, this is what I normally do to feel good,
yes,
and it's not making me feel good,
and it's not
anymore.
working, and it's almost like like trying to force that, well, this always has worked, or that's how I've defined that part of myself, and then it's falling flat. It's like empty calories of like, it's not satiating the way that it once was.
And so so the cards are saying it's going to recalibrate.
It's and just looking at that and being open, trusting the feeling of when, and not necessarily judging that it doesn't, but that it's like, what does it mean, and being curious about what would.
What would. What's
yeah,
new.
What's new, yeah.
And why am I afraid to perhaps not change
Yeah.
or not do something different? And also what I'm getting that's really, really strong that's coming in for the collective is also the inability to allow yourself to receive that Venus energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are in fight or flight mode. They're in survival mode, and that's their kind of state of being. Their even keeled place is to always be in that state of fight or flight, survival. And so I'm also wondering, maybe also is that like, can you start to receive more of like a taking care of myself, or doing what it is that I need to feel good, to move through this with more ease and grace? Why am I so hard on myself?
Yeah.
Right? Why am I forcing myself to do something that I don't love, that I don't like?
Yeah.
That kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there is almost a sense of with so much upheaval and challenge, like on the world stage, there's I have found for me anyway, that sometimes there's a guilt with that, of like there's a guilt in finding that like what just feels, and not in a external sense or like a numbing sense, but what would feel like fulfilling and nourishing in this time. And sometimes that's literally giving yourself a break of not pushing into what would have been kind of programmed autopilot behavior. Even just that break can, I think, be self-love and can be that Venus energy.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
And it's tied to intuition.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. The other thing that's coming this is so interesting. Okay, so that was kind of like what's like on the horizon and like in the near future, the present. Outside energies coming in, it's almost like, and this could even be, it's not necessarily other humans, this could be other aspects of yourself, like your egoic self, your past self coming in, that is almost redirecting you to the safe path, or that autopilot programming of like, when the desire is coming to either trust those new intuitive hits, or to kind of look at the new way of what would feel nourishing and what would feel fulfilling from a like intrinsic standpoint. The Empress reverse is like that problem receiving of whether that is selfish, whether that is like weak, I should be doing this. And Four of Pentacles is almost like the energetic hoarding card of like, I need to be kind of withholding going into that space because I need to remain in survival mode, because that's what kept me safe in the past.
Wow. And I'm also getting a lot of trauma, a lot of stories, a lot of stories, like really starting to look at your stories and the narratives that you're using to navigate and dictate your world right now. Big time.
I feel like it's like a lot of root chakra trauma, of which we've all, I think, experienced in one way, shape, or form since 2020. And kind of like Four of Pentacles is, I always say, it's the emotional hoarding card. It's like that holding on to something of like, I have to hold on to this because I know that has equaled safety in some way in the past.
Right.
So I think it's almost like the old stories of the root chakra security, which no longer uphold, versus the new stories of heart chakra expansion, of like and with that Libra like recalibration scales, I don't want to say the battle between the two, but the shift and the reprioritizing.
Yep. And that's a lot of feeling.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more trusting in the feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is also what the cards were saying, is like all that turning back, or turning on for humans, and learning to trust that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. And I think so, like the in terms of the outcome from like towards the end of this process, like as we move through October, Knight of Cups and Queen of Pentacles reversed is finding genuine trust and like, I guess, surrender and safety in upheaval to some degree. So whether that is a shift that's happened, leaving a job, leaving a relationship, and finding the trust in it, even if there's not tangible certainties of like, you left a job and there's not a job like lined up a week from now. You left a relationship and you don't know like, when you're going to go into a new one, and there's a lot of those question marks in kind of that like 3D tangible way. But there's it's everything you were saying of that redirect back into yourself, and again, a lot of that like heart chakra energy but finding the peace in the uncertainty.
Dang. That's the synopsis of the month.
Yeah.
That's the synopsis of like the last freaking year.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely.
You know what I mean?
It's definitely the synopsis of the last year. And I think when we were talking about like the Hermit keep coming back,
Yeah.
I keep saying like every time I pull it in major collective readings, I'm like, we keep getting the Hermit because like we still need to work with the Hermit.
We're not getting it. We're not getting it. It's like, oh, come back in. Oh,
Yeah.
come back into the cave. Come back in. You missed it. Right?
Yeah.
And then it's like ping, ping, ping. Come back in. Missed it again. Because we are creatures of habit.
Mm-hmm.
We've been mind controlled. We've been programmed. Right? We don't like to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't like to be in fight or flight. We really don't like to be in survival mode, but we're naturally sort of always in this like survival mode of like, how do I get through this? How do I navigate this? So Hermit mode is really, first of all, I think a lot of people are going through Hermit mode.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
We don't like it. When can we come out of it?
Mm-hmm.
You come out of it and you're like, oh, what did I get from that?
Yeah.
Right? Going back.
Yeah, it's almost like it's such a catch-22 because I feel like with the Hermit, it's when you don't have this desire to escape it is when you're able to move through it. When you're kind of like comfortable with the Hermit.
You surrender to it.
Yeah.
You completely surrender to it.
Yeah.
You surrender to the chaos that you're going through. You
Yeah.
surrender to the chaos out there.
Yeah.
You surrender to the chaos inside. You surrender to what's unraveling.
Absolutely.
You don't try to change it. You don't try to fix it.
Yeah.
Right? You don't try to fix it.
Yeah. I feel like the other thing with like the outcome of like Queen of Pentacles reversed is that there is a sense of with that like uncertainty of being, and it's very hard to say like, you know, be okay in uncertainty, but like it's more about being in the now moment of I think a lot of us, I know I was guilty of this, like you know, in the recent past of, okay, living for well, if things get better, I can stay in this, or if things get worse, it's safer to stay in this. But what if we just took it in from a moment of presence of, again, that kind of like heart chakra energy of like in the present moment, what is my, you know, soul, what are my guides, what am I really being called to do versus the projection of worst case scenario or best case scenario.
Right. Because this isn't going any like this we're in this.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like when you're in a really like dark tunnel and you're like, where's the light? When am I getting out? When am I gonna get out? When am I gonna get out? Right?
Yeah.
And the more you are looking for the light, where's the light? The more you're recognizing like there's no light, like you're here, you're in the dark, like this is it.
Yeah.
Hang out, figure out how you're going to navigate it. The more we allow ourselves to kind of drop into this, and with that heart card, right? Open the heart and navigate from more of a what if I'm safe? What if I'm designed to be safe through this? What if I'm designed to be able to navigate this in some way by surrendering to it or allowing it? Instead of fighting it, instead of trying to figure it out, instead of trying to find a solution. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, though, because there's going to be a constant redirect this month.
Yeah. Yeah. I think and probably several, and probably things that we thought to some degree we have moved through. Yeah. And almost like we may have on an outer level, but it's like a deeper, like spiralic, like a deeper cleaning of it. You know? Yeah.
I love the cards. Do you want to give a synopsis?
I'm good. I've been getting that it's just about not chasing anything.
Yeah.
So maybe you guys can touch on that. And then also, like, what are you investing in?
Yeah.
Because if you want love, you kind of have to put yourself out there a little bit.
Yeah.
If you want to make money or if you want friends, you kind of have to make an effort.
Right.
But don't go out chasing it. But give what you want other people to give you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want this and you want that, but are you getting that?
Right.
Are you doing for others what you want?
Can you guys hear them? They said they love Phil.
Oh, just
come on.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
But just like number one, don't chase out of desperation.
Don't chase out of desperation.
Yeah, no more. It's very disempowering.
Mm-hmm.
But number two, do put in some effort if it means something to you.
Okay, but what do you mean put in some effort if it means something
put in
to
some
you?
effort. Like if you want to make money, like put yourself out there more, be innovative, find ways to make money. If you want to find love, if you want to be in love, go on a date or two.
Just Put effort.
Put a little bit of effort.
Right.
Because you can't.
Don't stay in the hermit mode.
Well, you can't.
Is that what you're saying?
You can't be detected in a field that you're not playing in.
Right.
So your physical self still has to take action.
Right.
A degree of action that isn't desperate.
Well, no, I totally hear you, but like, how would you define that? And it goes back to that, like, recalibrating. Like, how do you define the putting yourself out there without chasing?
So it's being open and honest enough with yourself.
Yeah.
To get real on what you want, and then doing the bare minimum, just something to signal the universe that you're ready for that change. Just something. Because you can't learn about art if you never attend galleries.
Right.
You can't learn about people if you never ask questions.
Yeah.
So it's more of an energy of, if you want to attract something, what are you going to do to show that you desire that? Like, are you gonna make yourself detectable within that sphere?
Yeah, but then it goes back to what we were saying this morning, which is...
Well, there's a difference between chasing something when your heart is closed, and being vulnerable enough to say, I'm going to put myself out there.
Right.
There's a difference.
Right.
I think that's important.
Right.
I'm chasing money because I'm desperate. Your heart is closed.
Well, there's no trust and there's lack.
I'm chasing a job because I don't know that I'll be provided for. That's desperation.
Right.
You're
Trust and lack.
You're wreaking desperation.
Right.
But if you say, I really do want to make friends because I have so much love to give.
Right.
And you put yourself out there and you make friends from that place, it's not lack.
Right.
It's open, it's vulnerable. A lot of people have a hard time with vulnerability.
Well, you also have to feel worthy.
Yeah.
You have to feel worthy.
Vulnerability is a channel to receptiveness. It's a channel. Vulnerability, being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Not playing games anymore.
Right.
That's amazing. Vulnerability is a channel to reception. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's like you're not afraid.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a level of detachment that comes with, like, in a good way, of like just like the openness of that vulnerability with like detachment to the outcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it speeds everything up.
Yeah.
Because when you're not vulnerable, you can't possibly know the truth.
Yeah.
Of where someone stands, or where your boss stands, or where whatever. Vulnerability really converges everything.
Yeah, it opens it all up. It opens the field up.
It opens up the field.
It opens the field up. Yeah, and your heart has to be open for vulnerability.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right. Well, I didn't put your
Oh, my hand. It's just at card CB.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the comments after this post when I put it up. I'm gonna put this up on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and then I'll put Cardsy's Instagram tag so you guys can go see her, check her out. She has a podcast. What's your podcast?
It's Hex in the City.
Hex in the City.
And the City. Yeah.
And she does readings, and she's amazing. So. I loved feeling the energy. This October energy. It's interesting because they all worked together.
Yeah,
like everything interlooped with each other, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a powerful month. I think there's a lot of things that are going to help us highlight areas that, like I was saying, we may have some of us maybe not even intentionally skipped over, but we're going to be able to get into it in a juicier level this month. And I think that's really going to also help us to become more vulnerable by really like examining those areas.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Put our seatbelts on. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here with us. Thanks, Phil, for your commentary.
What did people hear me?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They heard you. Hex in the City. Is that it? Hex in the City?
Hex and the City.
Hex and the
yes.
City. So be aware of, be cognizant. Be aware of what's each time you're being reverted back, or what is it? What did we call
being
it?
like redirected back in.
Yeah.
Redirected.
Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Bye bye.
Thank you.